This is the airfield at Hildesheim, the headquarters for the frontline helicopters, and just next door to the battle headquarters for the thousands of troops who are involved in manoeuvres and the exercise around here. That's the phony war of Exercise Lionheart. Happily, that is just an exercise, but the hard facts of East-West relations lie just half an hour's flying time to the northeast of here. 700 miles of intricate fencing, that's the East German border, and that's where we're going now.
This is the Iron Curtain. More than 170 people have been killed trying to escape across it to the west. Nearly 3 million people have beaten it since the two Germanys were divided in the 40s. When the Berlin Wall went up in 1961, the barrier became the weak link in the escape chain. So, over the past 23 years, it's been intensified and strengthened by the East Germans. Now, very few people get across. Curiously, this little ditch is the official point where East meets West. Guards come to it to peer at us. They're close enough to throw a packet of cigarettes, but they won't even speak.
And in the 12 years I've been doing the border, I've never had a reply from any of these chaps that come outside the fencing.
There's not a lot separating them and us. There's just this ditch with water in. What's to stop them jumping over the...
Well, these chaps are the professionals. They're known as the Aufklärers, or reconnaissance troops, and there's 3 of these attached to each company along the border area. And obviously the system is well inside of them, and they've got a lot to lose, I suppose, if they come across.
So they're the real trusters?
They're the professionals, the men with the system inside them, the real... We call them the 150%ers.
And we've had our photographs taken.
Yes.
What do you suppose will happen to that?
Well, obviously they're going to use them for intelligence purposes. So I should think that most of the photographs they've taken here today will end up in East Berlin as at the headquarters intelligence.
The British Frontier Service is the official guide in this sector. Tom Jones makes sure the helicopter keeps to the border as it weaves and cuts across the country. Its pattern is as complex as the barrier itself.
What you can see, Mike, is the first of their installations, which is the single high mesh fence. Immediately behind, they've got a vehicle ditch, which is approximately 1.5 meters deep, lined with concrete slabs. It then slopes up to their 6-meter ploughed strip, which is checked for footprints. It's ploughed and harrowed and kept nice and soft so they can check for footprints.
To see if anybody's been across.
That's it.
Behind all that, there's a minefield, SM-70 scatterguns run off tripwires, razor-sharp barbed wire and electrified fencing. The East Germans are dismantling the cruel scatterguns in return for a loan, but they're putting in dogs and more electrified fence instead. This is one of the 9 road crossing points, and for a moment the Iron Curtain becomes no more daunting than the Dartford Tunnel. But the barrier is perhaps most brutal where it cuts villages. At Holtenslaven, Frau Heyer hasn't seen her brother for 2 years. He lives all of 500 yards away, behind the wall.
Bis zum 4. Juli 45.
Yeah. They used to be able to walk across here and have a beer in the Gaststätte here, quite openly. The Russians didn't give them any problems.
And how does Frau Heyer feel about this wall at the bottom of her road?
Wie fühlen Sie mit der Grenze 100 Meter weg vom Lake?
Manchmal darf man nicht hingucken.
She said sometimes she just doesn't want to look at it.
Tom Jones has been on the Frontier Service for a long time, but if he leaves you with one impression, it's hatred for the barrier and everything that it stands for.
People keep saying that the East are doing things to ease things, but they're not easing things at all, Mike. They're making it far more difficult for people to see, even to look at each other.
And the people over there, what are your feelings for them?
My feelings, how can you feel about people who are inside a prison, Mike? That's all it is. These people have not committed any crime at all.
You think it's like that?
I think it's like that, yeah.